Good morning, everyone. This is Julie and Requilme, and for today's video, we'll be going to talk about the criteria of choosing an appropriate assessment tool. So, if you have a book, it is on page 168 in this book, Technology for Teaching and Learning. Now, without further ado, let's move on to our formal discussion. First thing foremost, so when we say assessment, what comes in your mind? So when we say assessment in education or in teaching, it means methods or tools that educators use to evaluate, measure, and document academic readiness, learning progress, skill acquisition, or educational needs of a student. So, assessment methods are really important to educators or future educators. Why? Because through these, the teachers can appropriately choose what type of assessment tools needed in measuring to which extent the students demonstrate the learning outcomes. So, in selecting appropriate tools, it involves a process to obtain detailed information and the need to keep the process feasible and manageable. So when we say feasible, it means that to possibly do or easily do. And on the other hand, when we say manageable, it is to able to do or manage or accomplish without much difficulties. That's why the teachers need to consider that variation as they choose assessment tools for their courses.
According to Maron's 2001, as cited in McDevitt and Ginson's ND, in its broadest sense, the purpose of any assessment is to gather data and to facilitate decision making. However, several kinds of decisions and many kinds of different types of information may be gained from the use of tests and may serve to facilitate decision making. And the following may be considered in choosing appropriate assessment tools. The first one is goals of assessment. The second one is the methods of the assessment, either the direct or indirect. And the third one is the interval of giving assessment. Now, let's furthermore talk about these methods. So first, we have the direct method, and the second one is indirect method. So we have here different kinds of samples for direct method. So the first one is examinations, second one is written assignments, the third one is oral presentations, the fourth one is performances, the fifth one is internship supervisors rating of student skills, the sixth one is portfolios, the seventh one is core gains, the entry and the exit tests, and the eighth one is capstone projects, the ninth one is thesis, and many more. And now let's go to indirect methods. So what are the examples of indirect methods? So we have here the first one, student satisfaction surveys. Second one is the surveys of students and alumni. Number three is exit interview with graduating students. The fourth one is students' participation rate. And the fifth one is reflective essays, as well as data and placement and other measures of post-graduation performances, and many more. So here, class, the teacher may be considered the following characteristic in selecting appropriate assessment tools, whether conventional or ICT based. So when we say conventional, it is based in accordance or on the accordance with what is generally done or believed. So when we say ICT based, it is with the touch of technology or the ICT. Now, class, let's proceed to number two, being cost effective in terms of effort, time, and money. So what is meant by this? So it is a good value for the amount of money paid. Again, it is a good value for the amount of money paid. It wouldn't be a cost effective to buy an expensive new computer when all you want to do is store your photos on it. See, it wouldn't be cost effective to buy an expensive computer or new computer when all you want to do is store your photos on it. Being a cost-effective educator must use an assessment that is not much time and effort consuming, not spending too much time on the given assessment. Instead, a simple evaluation will do to assess students' learning and to still give them the comfort that they need. Let's proceed to the third one. The third one is useful that will produce results that will provide information that can be used in making decisions to improve students' learning. So it means a teacher should also use situational assessments, gather the students' answers, and organize ideas from it to form decisions to improve students' learning and performances. So for the fourth one, reasonably accurate and truthful. So it can be assessment that uses situations or situational. So it means that a teacher must use an assessment tool that is accurate and truthful, can be based on a real life situation, so that the students must answer it also on based on real response. So for number five, dependable, consistent responses over time. So an assessment is used to test a student's learning. Therefore, it must be dependable in order to see the scope of what they have learned and so as to be consistent responses over time if there is questions or clarifications. And then the last number is evidence of being ongoing, not once and done. So it means that it must be answered not just once or twice, but can be anytime. So research is one of the assessment that is really effective. So it needs time or a span of time for you to study or to test the students' learning in making research.
Hello everyone, I am Kimberly BACLAAN, and for today's topic I am going to tackle about creating and utilizing rubric. A rubric is a set of criteria used to determine scoring for an assignment, performance, or product. This can be used to score many kinds of written assignments or exams, papers, projects, or e-portfolios. So they are not useful, however, as a grading mechanism for multiple choice or short answer tests. So there are many samples of rubrics online, but the teacher may consider the learners' objectives of the lesson, contextualization, and localization. Okay, the main purpose of rubrics is to assess student performances. For some performances, the teacher may observe the student in the process of doing something, like making their projects, online drills, tutorial, and many more. And there are two types of rubric, namely analytic rubrics and holistic rubrics. So when we say analytic rubrics, it describes work on each criterion separately. So it utilizes separate holistic ratings of specific characteristics, products, or behavior. And holistic rubrics, on the other hand, describes the work by applying all the criteria at the same time and enabling an overall judgment about the quality of the work. It utilizes holistic rating for a product or behavior. So now let's move on. Technology can be used for assessing student learning in various purposes. By using technology in managing assessment information, data can be presented in different ways to meet the needs of the students, teachers, and administrators. An electronic examination, which is also called computer-based assessment, the computer-based testing, or e-exam, is a test conducted using a personal computer or an equivalent electronics device, in which the delivery or the responses and the assessments are effected electronically. E-exams were developed more than 4 decades ago for professional certification in the IT industry and progressively evolving as a preferred alternative to paper pencil test or the PPT in schools, universities, recruiting firms, as well as private and public organizations. So the computer-based testing is more efficient than the paper-based test because it is an individualized testing and has faster score, comparing or reporting within a few minutes after last submission. So the students can immediately view the scores on screen and more convenient for teachers and students. Computerized delivery of objective tests has more advantages compared to paper pencil tests, which include the following. First, the creation of item bank questions invites the possibility of each student being presented with a paper made up of different questions but of an equivalent standard. Second, automatic computerized marking facilitates immediate feedback for the students. Third, students can be invited to see tests as frequently as they find useful. The fourth one, computerized recording of results facilitates the analysis of groups' responses questions. The teacher may consider balanced assessments, blend of traditional and ICT-based assessment. Although computerized testing facilitates can provide a rapid means of assessing and providing feedback to large numbers of students, it is important or essential to consider their use as part of the overall unit strategy, especially as multiple choice or the limited response type questions that can lead to an emphasis on shallow learning. Electronic assessment tools are unlikely to reduce significantly the burden of assessment. But they can be used to promote deeper and more effective learning by testing a range of skills, knowledge, and understanding. Using computers in assessment does not have to mean more multiple choice testing to the exclusion of other assessment techniques. A wide range of innovative assessment methods lend to themselves to computer-based implementation. It is important to note that teachers should use a variety of assessment methods in the classroom. Assessing students is how the teachers are able to evaluate students over the material they are learning in the classroom, and therefore has to be done fairly to accommodate each and every student's interests and needs. This is why it is important for teachers to use a variety of different assessments in their classroom. Paper and pencil testing is the most common assessment procedure utilized by teachers to gather formal evidence about pupil learning. So the paper and pencil instruments refer to a general group of assessment tools in which students read the questions and respond in writing. So this include tests such as knowledge and ability test and inventories such as personality and interest inventories. So the process of achievement testing is a chain with many links, including identifying what to teach, providing good instruction, selecting appropriate test question formats, and reviewing for the test. So some examples are multiple choice test, true or false, matching type, analogy, simple recall, and the like. Okay, and that's all for creating and utilizing rubric topic. I hope you learned something. Have a good day.
Good day everyone! So my name is Junbrick BACALSO to continue the topic from Module 6 Lesson 2 about electronic portfolio. And now if you have the book, so kindly open to page 173 because we are going to tackle about e-portfolio and the types of it. First is, what is an electronic portfolio? An electronic portfolio, which is also known to us as an e-portfolio or digital portfolio, or we should say an online portfolio. So, an electronic portfolio, it is a collection of electronic evidence assembled and managed by a user or us, usually on the web, or such as an electronic evidence may include or input text, electronic files, images, or it could be multimedia, blog entries, and hyperlinks. E-portfolios are both demonstrations of the user's abilities and platforms for self-expression. And now, we will be tackling the types of e-portfolios. We will be defining them one by one. And why is it important to us as a student? First, in the book, the first type of e-portfolio is the ideal portfolio. According to the definition in the book, that it contains all work of students. It is not given to provide students a grade. Meaning, an ideal portfolio contains a varied of assortment of investments. This can range from the government bonds to small cap stocks to forex currency. But it's important to manage your portfolio well. Otherwise, you could end up with lower returns. And the question is, what should an ideal portfolio look like? So an ideal portfolio should contain a growth component, particularly in your younger years. So later in life, the focus shifts from growth to income. So no matter your age, it's essential to diversity and rebalance your portfolio as your goals, risk tolerance, and time horizon change. That's all about the ideal portfolio. And now, we will be tackling about the second type of portfolio, the showcase portfolio. So according to the definition in the book, when we say about the showcase, or we should say the professional e-portfolios, so these portfolios or these e-portfolios are primarily a way to demonstrate or to showcase the highlights of a student's academic career. So as a student, this portfolio or this e-portfolio, it's stated about our academic career. And now, so it means to say that the showcase portfolios are designed to display a learner's best quality of work. So this might be like this might be to highlight the success or to showcase a variety of accomplishments a student has achieved over a period of time. So in showcasing a student's work, this portfolio allows us or allows them to describe and tell their own story. So a showcase portfolios, its students select and submit their best work. So the showcase portfolio emphasizes the products of learning. Developmental portfolios, students select and submit pieces of work. That's all for the showcase or professional portfolio. And now, we will proceed third type of portfolio, the documentation portfolio. According to the book, the definition, it stated there that it involves a collection of work over time, showing growth and improvement reflecting students' learning of identified outcomes. Meaning, documentation portfolio is